Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Again, for those, looks like a few just joined us late. This is the Saturday, very abridged version of the software strategy call. I'm Steve Vetteros, firm CMA. Got any questions? Put them in the Q&A window. Let's go into Forex Factory to start. So we'll have a little short and sweet session here today. All right, so tomorrow is the 24th. Is looking at the calendar here. We've got essentially 5 days left in April. Man, how time flies. The damn year's almost half gone. So for the next 5 days, these are the events coming up. This BOJ report's tentative, but essentially you've got bank holidays for both the Aussie and New Zealand area. So just keep that in mind. Should be a little quieter as far as trading Aussie or NZD. On Tuesday, CPI again for the Australian markets or those currencies. On Wednesday, we've got the FOMC statement and press conference. So just be aware of that along with GDP. So my advice always is not to trade around this kind of news, or pause your EA, or just don't take any trades that it may suggest during this period of time if it's not set up to skip this news, which some is, some are not with our software. So that is the Forex calendars. Take a quick look at the charts. DXY, start off with the daily chart here first. So the continuum, if you will, of the entire decline that I've been talking about for a long period of time, and I can really show just how much the magnitude of the decline has been here. Just drop this down and put it in a little more context. Since the pandemic started about a year ago, we're a full almost $13 off of the high that we were at, which is a pretty big move. And we were going to take some time to digest that and have a balancing period down here at the bottom. So I saw that, and then we popped back up above it. Now we're probably going to be continuing this decline. And let me just reset scale here into further levels much lower. So I've shown the weekly charts. This is a longer term. And let me see if I can expand this out. So I think this is kind of where we're headed down here in this area first, and then ultimately lower, going to be down into the 85 areas, really essentially where I see this sort of starting to settle out somewhere within a window of this, which is probably going to send gold higher, obviously, maybe a little bit of a breakout above gold in the charts. Take a look at Euro USD. This is going to be a polar opposite. Let's jump back to the daily. Expand this out. It's always much easier to put this in context when I have the large charting system on the big system, but we can make do. So looking at this again, we're back up inside the balancing area we've been in for quite some time. This entire year, we've been in literally the same balance, and we poked our head down here because obviously the strength of the dollar, but now we're back up inside this. So I would expect us to begin to start to test the upper limits of this as the dollar begins to go lower. When, how long, for what duration, that's the difficult part of forecasting, right? But just understand that, you know, we're in the range right now. So far, this whole 1900 area is holding. Let's take a look also at the Euro association with the British pound. Same thing. I know we've had some broader moves in CAD-based pairs, especially with a lot of the GBP stuff that Neo trades. We're going to take a look at that as well. I just want to take a quick peek here. Still trading inside, but notice we're just beginning to peak above that area. So we're above right now. It's actually the first time we've gotten above this resistance area in quite some time. So Notice we peaked our head above and came just right back down. You know, so goes the Euro USD, so goes, you know, USD or GBP USD, you know, so goes their relationship between each other. But it almost looks like it just wants to begin to break higher with the weakness in the US dollar. So GDP Cad, this is what everybody's been talking about. If you look in the grand scheme of things, yes, the move over the last number of days seems a bit crazy. It really is not without the realm of reason. Now, we can't count too many instances where we've had this type of single day volatility through a very, very broad range. If I can expand this out here, I'll show you. But the resistance completely held us and we came right back down, and now we're sitting on support. So with this particular one, I'll tell you this, when, and this is a beautiful example of a martingale in action, when this particular strategy just absolutely raced up, there were a lot of EAs, heck, there were a lot of EAs globally that were chasing this, not higher, but they were stepping in front of this movement up, as I typically do not try and do as a freight train. But for those that held, you've been completely vindicated that those trades have come back off. So I would suspect, as I've certainly heard at this event over the last 2 days with a lot of our big traders that are here, that much of this has been brought back and saved face, if you will, as far as some of the neo drawdowns. So it's good to see. All right, so take a quick peek also at so US CAD, just in all the currencies. Obviously this one hasn't had quite the crazy moves that some of the other things have had, but we're again still inside the range here. Would expect us to stay inside this range, possibly break lower, looking at maybe the lower range around, I don't know, 2440-ish, maybe all the way to the 2440-ish area, somewhere in that range. Also, I know a couple of you guys want to see some charts on Bitcoin. We've been taking a closer look at crypto here over this weekend. Got a lot of crypto traders have been hanging out with, and we'll have hopefully some crypto to be able to analyze and trade going in the future. But for now, it's looking to me in Bitcoin that you want to see probably 40,000, which was this big lift off. So actually, as I talked today, you had, I even had, I guess I could sort of shrink it down a little bit, but you had a breakout pattern with some pretty big volume on this as well. And then you had a lot of lift off. So what that tells us is that if these patterns look like they're going to fail, this one looks like it's starting to fail, the 100-day line here, more than likely on this daily chart here, we're headed down to 40,000. Ideally, if you're a buyer of Bitcoin, you're going to want to see this base out for a period of time. Don't just buy it when it hits 40. As I talked a lot in risk management, you got to let the patterns play out, right? Let some base or balancing or auctioning back and forth, if you will, take the place of this. And then once it decisively breaks, there was actually a buying opportunity. Whereas it looks to me like we're going back to 40,000. And everybody better pray if you're long at that level or lower. You know, this thing holds 35, we're going much lower, like 20,000 per coin. But as I always say, I could be wrong, just an idea. Gold spot, you can see we're just looking to rip out potentially from this 1800 area. Let's see, what else? Take a look at the 7 and 10 year, still tight range. Does look like it wants to break higher though. That will have implications for currency movements, obviously. Same with the 140. You know, if anything, this will probably help US dollar to push lower, euro to push higher, you know, GBP, everything that's related to the US to go higher, probably with the exception of JPY, which is its own beast. So that's pretty much all I have, you guys. I wanted to keep it sort of short and sweet. If you've got any questions, you know, feel free to hold them till Tuesday, or obviously next Saturday when I'll be back at the helm of the studio Vetteral in Temecula, California, presenting. But for now, wish everybody a good trading week, and want to thank the team and everybody here this weekend for all the work. I tell you, it's been a monumental opportunity, but it's come with a ton of community to it, and it's great to see all that. So proud to be part of an organization, and it's a rare statement from me because I am a tough sell. So I wish everybody a great trading week. Remember, risk management. Have a plan. Please execute on the plan. May the trades be with you.